Denver city officials announced this week that a controversial flood drainage plan will cost an extra $100 million than previously estimated. The plan addresses a Northeast Denver stormwater issue brought about by the I-70 construction project and directs floodwaters to Denver City Park Golf Course. Eric, this seems like a compromise that are better for homeowners than golfers because it's helping, I guess, at least by the plan, floodwaters take out neighborhoods. But $100 million is nothing to sneeze at. What did you think of the announcement?
No, $100 million is indeed nothing to sneeze at, and the total number for this project now is approaching $300 million. And obviously, if anyone wants to bet that that's the final number, I would take that bet. I would suspect that by the time we talk about this issue a few years down the road, there's substantial overruns on top of that, pun not intended. A couple angles on this. One is obviously there's this. They call it an indirect connection, but I think it is more than indirect to the whole I-70 project. And if it were not for that project, I don't think we'd be having this conversation. Stormwater as a general subject, it was nothing we would talk about around this table, and it's nothing most people around Denver would talk about. It's one of those topics that make your eyes glaze over. But all of a sudden now, given some of the neighborhood impacts and given the financial cost, it is becoming a subject of some discussion and some controversy in this town. For myself, I regard, as a golfer, I regard City Park Golf Course as just another golf course, and I think there are better ones around town and certainly around the metro area. For a whole lot of people who grew up playing City Park Golf Course, it is sacred land. And for them to see this golf course be somehow jeopardized or significantly altered by flood retention ponds is not sitting well. So I think this issue is going to get hotter before it cools down. I think it does have the potential to really engage some different constituencies around town, both on the neighborhood level as well as some fiscal hawks, to the extent there are any in Denver. And Mayor Hancock on this one, there's a potential he could start taking on some water.
Wouldn't be the first time in this administration's history now. Penn, you understand both water issues and civic planning issues better than most folks. When you look at this plan, what are your thoughts?
You know, my thoughts are what I'm hearing people say in the community, and they want to know who dropped the ball. There are at least three major issues of concern. Number one, remember, this contract is the one that was controversial because it was passed by the Denver City Council right before the council changed due to the last election cycle, because you had several people who were new to the city council who said, no, please don't vote on this. Wait until we take office because we have some different thoughts on this. The prior council pushed it through. Now it turns out the numbers are off by $100 million. So a lot of people in the community are asking who dropped the ball on this, and how can you be off by a magnitude of 50% on the cost of this project? And if you're off that far, what else are you wrong about, number one? Number two, it's interesting because the way the story played in the Greater Park Hill newspaper is City Park Golf Course going to be closed and made obsolete. So now you've got a number of homeowners in the area who are saying, wait, whoa. We own these homes, some of which look out on a golf course, some of which are near a golf course, and now you're telling us it's going to be a massive detention pond for stormwater drainage? There's no way this is acceptable. So you've got a number of neighborhood groups around City Park who are now becoming outraged because from their point of view, no one said this was part of the deal with this I-70 project. And that's the third piece of this problem. The people in Northeast Denver who were opposed to the I-70 tunnel dig before, who advocated the 270 bypass or something, now they're saying, you see, we told you this was all a bunch of hooey. They don't know what they're doing. The numbers don't make sense. And this is going to be far more costly and disruptive than what you were told. And if they're wrong about this, what else is everybody wrong about? So it's not just the city, but unfortunately, CDOT has got to figure this out. Adams County is going to be impacted. A number of folks, what's the old phrase? They got some splaining to do because this one isn't looking very good.
Patty, with all these different elements going on, is Mayor Hancock, as a city, are some officials going to have to get involved?
I think they should be getting involved. We did a big story on this 3 weeks ago, and although you think wastewater is a dry topic that people aren't going to be reading about, people were up in arms. One of the first problems is neighbors didn't hear about this. The city said they started outreach back in August, but there are people who are smart, involved people who didn't hear about it till November. And that was when one of the plans called for taking out 50 houses in Cole. Now, I would say something happening on a golf course is probably better than taking out 50 houses, but you're still, why aren't they reaching out more to the neighbors? Why aren't they explaining what they're doing? And then you get into the other thing, why can't they figure out how much it's going to cost? And if you've got a project like this that's going to cost that much more, what's going to happen at the National Western Center? What is going to happen with the Denver Performing Arts Complex? Those are two huge projects Denver's looking at.
David, are too many carts being put before this I-70 construction horse?
For the reasons explained, it's however many carts there are, it doesn't seem like the driver's doing a good job on this. And stormwater may not get talked about much at this table, but it's a really important topic, and it's actually one of the things the government should be doing. That's the core of the infrastructure, and we know that with heavy rains in the spring or in the fall, you can have really serious flooding. So we've got to do something, and I hope that the mayors they're right when they say it won't destroy City Park Golf Course. It will just have bigger, more exciting water hazards.